What's the deal, baby? Y'all didn't know it is the big boss out, boss down K-Po through the door. Here to talk this boxing. What's good with everybody? Hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody is having a good new year. You know, let's run it up, man. Let's do what we gotta do, man, to grow the channel. If you're new to the channel, like, comment here, subscribe. I'm boss out K-Po from Houston, Texas, where the ride beans and Lexus. But let's get into it, man. Steve Bregman, who's the trainer of Caleb Plant and also J-Rock, was interviewed, and they was asked the questions about, you know, guys at 147, mainly the top guys, and Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fighting Jaron Enis. He also explained, you know, how he believes that Jaron Enis, you know, fighting Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford are 50-50 fights. He believes that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford can beat Jaron Enis, but he also believes that Jaron Enis can beat them as well. You know, he also talked about how he doesn't believe that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford will fight Boots. You know, he's not saying that they're afraid of them, of Boots Enis. He's just saying that, you know, they're older, and it's kind of like they've got a lot of accomplishments, and, you know, it's kind of like high risk, low reward type thing, you know what I mean? So, you know, and he's saying that, you know, from the business side, you know, he doesn't see that fight manifesting because of that, you know, and, you know, he thinks that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford will probably fight each other. You know, he feels like, you know, the business side of boxing, you know, with these promoters is the reason why, you know, a lot of young guys are not getting opportunities in the sport of boxing. You know, it's politics. You know what I mean? He brought up the past. He brought up Floyd Mayweather fought, you know, Jaron Hernandez when he was 21 years old, you know, and a list of other champions. He talked about Roy Jones Jr. and, you know, in the past, and he said it's just in this era, you know, a lot of, you know, it's just politics. Politics getting in the way of fights getting made. My stance on that is, I definitely understand what he's saying. I do see what he's saying. I do believe that Errol Spence will fight Jaron Enis. You know, I think I see that. I do feel like Errol Spence will get in there with Jaron. You know what I mean? Especially, you know, with the hype that's around Boots Enis. I mean, he see the skill. He know Boots can fight. Everybody know Boots can fight. Everybody know who Boots is. You know what I mean? You'd be lying if you sat there and said you didn't know who Jaron Enis is. When Keith Thurman said he didn't know who Jaron Enis is, he lying. Everybody know who this young man is. This boy is dangerous. You know what I mean? He's a dangerous fighter. He's, you know what I'm saying? We just don't know how he'll perform in there with, you know, another elite talent. But, you know, it's kind of hard for him to get those fights because, you know, it's kind of like I said, high risk, low reward type thing. You know, if you get in there and you lose to him, you know, it's like, yeah, dang, you know. But if you don't really get too much credit, because they're gonna say, oh man, he's an up and coming fighter, you know. But if you know, I'm talking about, my bad, if you beat him, it's like they're not gonna give you a lot of credit. If you lose to him, it's like, man, you lost to this young lion, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. I do agree with Bregman what he said in the interview when he said that it's up to Boots Enis' handlers to figure out a way to corner these sanctioning bodies and, you know, to making him fight, you know what I mean, to get the fights that he wants. And I agree, you know. Errol Spence would do that. You know, a lot of fighters, when Errol Spence was coming up in the game, they didn't want to fight him. They kept telling him he got to get a belt, you know, he got to do more, he got to, you know, he got a belt, he got to do more and things like that. He got to prove himself a little more. There was things like that they were saying about him. So he just kind of cornered the game to where they had to fight him, where he can get those fights, and now he's getting those fights. So but I think Boots got to do the same thing, you know. But like I said, I do think Errol Spence will fight Jaron Enis. I don't know about Terrence Crawford. I don't know if Terrence Crawford will fight Jaron Enis. You know what I mean? Terrence Crawford, to me, tends to fight fights that are favorable for him matchup-wise. He don't fight fights where, you know, it's going to be a tough fight and he knows it's going to be tough and, you know, he going to try to figure it out. He don't fight fights like that. He like, I told you, he Canelo. Him and Canelo do that stuff. They fight fights where they're favorable. Like they know stylistically they're gonna win. You know what I mean? Errol fighting fights where stylistically it's just certain styles. People see, and this is what I said, the casual fan don't understand this. It's certain styles that you're gonna have a problem with, right? Like Canelo has a problem with slick boxers, right? He will not fight anybody that's slick. That's why he won't fight Demetrius Andrade. You know what I mean? He won't fight anybody that's slick. Why? Because Floyd Mayweather exposed him and beat the brakes off him. Canelo's having trouble with Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Sanders. You know what I mean? Nah, Canelo stopped both of them. You know what I mean? But that's because they got sloppy and they kept doing the same thing over and over again. So Canelo was able to figure them out and start timing them, and he was able to land the shots that he wanted to land. But, you know, you can't do the same thing on Canelo. You know, you got to switch that mug up. You got to switch it up, set it up, disguise it. You know, a lot of them don't do that. You know, but when Canelo, he ain't fighting no black slick fighter. Just like Terrence Crawford is not going to get in there with any other top black fighter. He ain't gonna do that. He gonna get in there with somebody he can kind of dog walk and break him down. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get in there with a dude like that. He's not gonna get in there with a guy that's elite. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You know, he ain't gonna do that. So I think that Errol will get in there with Boots. I don't know if that fight happens next, Errol and Boots. Like I said, I don't know, because the WBC, you know, is the most prestigious belt. So I think that's going to be first dibs. I think Errol most likely, if he don't fight Terrence Crawford, which I don't think that fight going to happen, because Terrence Crawford ain't finna fight Errol. I think it's going to be a Keith Thurman fight. And it just makes more sense. It's more money, more revenue, more beef. You know, more people can tune into it, things like that. I made videos in the past about I don't think Errol should fight Keith Thurman, but I'm just looking at it from a business perspective and saying that fight makes more sense. Do I want Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman? No. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, the situation is what it is. We got to deal with what we got, right? Terrence Crawford don't want to fight. I would love to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, but we got to deal with what we got. We got Keith Thurman, we got Boots Enis, and we got Stanley Enis and Virgil Ortiz to win out that fight. So, looking forward to see what the future is. But I believe, I agree with Stephen Bridman. You know, so I see what he's saying. You know what I mean? About the business side. Like, you know, in today's boxing, you know, people are more business minded. I think it's because also people are more, and they have more information, I would say, on, you know, analytics and stuff like that. You know, because back then, yeah, guys were fighting each other, whatever. You know, it didn't matter the dollar amount. And I like that. I'm not going to lie to you. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that. But at the end of the day, like, we got to be realistic. You know, if I own a promotional company, I'm gonna look at, yeah, I would encourage my fighter to fight the best fighters, but which best fighter is gonna generate me the most money? You know what I mean? Because I don't want my fighter in there with somebody that's trash. I want him in there with a killer. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna build his reputation up. That's gonna get more people to come see him fight, but also that's gonna generate more revenue for me and my business, and also for my fighter. So, you know, the Keith Thurman fight makes more sense business-wise. You know what I'm saying? So, but y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all agree with Steve Bridman? Boss gone.